I'm the river, I'm the rain, the lonesome whistle of a train. I'm the amber waves of grain. I'm the highway, I'm the farm, fertile fields and boulevards, the hand that rests over your heart. Oh, I'm the echo of the bell that's ringing. Oh, I'm the freedom in the song we're singing. I'm the seed that's in the dust. I'm the prayer in God we trust. A place to dream for all of us. I'm America. Dance, the open window to a chance, the place where courage takes a stand. All the colors that you see, the lights from 30,000 feet. Yeah, I'm the roar of victory. Oh, I'm the echo of the bell that's ringing. Oh, I'm the freedom in the song we're singing. I'm the seed that's in the dust. I'm the prayer in God we trust. A place to dream for all of us. I'm America. I'm America. I'm the fathers, I'm the sons. I'm the footprints in the mud. I'm a shelter washed in blood. Oh, 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 oh. I'm the seed that's in the dust. I'm the prayer in God we trust. A place to dream for all of us. I'm America. I'm America. I'm America. I'm America.
Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today, because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. Welcome, everybody, to a Monday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. How is everybody doing? Miss Candace, how are you, dear?
Good, I think.
It was another lovely Monday here in Kentucky. What did you think? Today was a beautiful day, I think.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. Yeah, I spent some time outside while I was at work today.
You know, we're in that false fall. I think that's what they call it, false fall, because it's supposed to get hot again.
Yeah.
Me personally, I wish it would just stay cold year round. You know, wake up in the morning, it's about 50 degrees, and then at the peak of the hottest part of the day, it's about 65, 70.
Perfect.
I'd be happy.
My boots, my jeans, my sweaters, and my cup of coffee, and I will sit outside with the dogs and just be happy as lark.
Just I that's to be in shorts and a t-shirt. If it was about 65, 70 degree, no humidity, yeah, I'd be in shorts and t-shirts year
I usually
round.
wear flip flops, and even when there's snow on the ground, but I do love my boots, and I realized with my move right now that I have way too many pairs of boots.
Most women have too many pairs of shoes.
But I didn't used to. That wasn't my thing. Mugs. Mugs are my thing, and this isn't even like part of my collection. I had to hide them for the birthday party yesterday. This is where they ended up.
So Tab says it's gorgeous in VA too, and she's like, yes, give me the cold weather. See, I don't even like sweaters, Tab. I
But
can't.
he's a Marine. Well, so are you. Wait.
I was gonna say, so is she.
Hold on.
And so is our guest.
Tab eats the crowns, though.
What?
She does. I don't think Tab eats the crowns.
All Marines eat crowns.
I'm trying, Tab. I'm trying.
All Marines eat
Tell
crowns.
Did you eat them?
She did.
Maybe. I don't know.
So
No,
if
I missed you guys yesterday. It was a great day here on the home front here, and we had a good time. I know, like, people are seeing, and I don't normally put my personal stuff out there, but anything else, cover up that wax taste. But yeah, I definitely missed you guys. But people are seeing on Facebook. My left hand got a little heavier. And it was his birthday yesterday, so we did a little birthday party, and I met the kids, and like it was great, and the grandbabies. So I'm in love.
Hell.
Oh,
You're
I'm in
smitten
love.
already.
I am. 2 and 4, and they're little boys, and they're little country boys, and I love it. Oh, I want to squeeze them all up. One of them didn't want to leave, so we had him a little later last night. That was fun.
Oh man.
But you sitting there with your feet up at home, still on strike.
Yeah, I know, right? So we're still on strike through the company and union, going in week 4. Last night we had, special guest host was Sam Deeds came on, and we interviewed Miss Angelica Capsis with Vote Right. She's doing amazing things with Vote Right up there in New York, and if you didn't catch last night's episode, you need to go back and watch it, because what they're doing with their system is, with all these different election polls out there, it could be state level, presidential level, union hall, whatever. They got a pretty good system that's proven, that is unhackable. It's a pretty good system. So, like the last election, it was rigged, everybody says. Their system is supposedly unhackable because it don't connect to the internet. And if you make a mistake and you want to go back, you can go back and correct it.
Why are we not using this for more stuff?
What's that?
Why are we not using this for more stuff?
Funding. It's new, and they're looking for funding to help, like investors and stuff like that, to help get it where they needed to get it in the polls and stuff. So.
Well, get the word out. Look, I saw Daddy hop on. Hi, Daddy. I tried to call you on the way home. You didn't answer.
Bill says, I bought you a box last year and you haven't even eaten a single one.
Look, it was back in February, and I think I bought him, 7, 8 boxes of crowns. He hasn't touched one of them.
Yeah. They're my emergency rations. My emergency rations.
Do I need to get you some pumpkin spice ones?
Oh, hell no. Get the fuck out of here. You're fired.
But I have not been fired in forever. I finally feel normal again. But hey, I do have some volunteer work that I need done at work if you just are bored. Like, I know Julie is ready to get you out of the house, so come on up.
Maybe. We'll talk. We'll talk offline.
You're right down the street.
Well, so tomorrow I have a VA appointment at, I think, 3. And then the next day I have my CMP exam at 8:15 a.m. So yeah, the next few days, the next few weeks are going to be super busy because all my pre-appointments for my surgery are coming up. I mean, like on the 18th, I got 4 appointments in one day.
Sucks getting old, doesn't it?
Yeah. But it needs to be done. So, but anywho, so today we got a great guest coming up. We got Captain Garret Biss, USMC retired. He's a TEDx speaker, award-winning author, respected thought leader in the addiction recovery industry. He's a highly sought-after speaker, trainer for diverse audiences, from national conference stages to the boardroom. And he does a little bit of everything. So just what I read off there was just a snippet of what Mr. Garret Biss does. What's up, Mr. Christopher Elder? How are you doing, sir?
Well, I know originally, didn't we have 2 episodes set up for Garret? And was it us? Was it our fault for the first one?
Yes, I think, we had 2 episodes scheduled for Mr. Garret, which we're going to have to get another one scheduled.
Yeah, because there's so much. And just wait.
Yeah. So let's bring Mr. Garret up to the stage.
Sorry, I got 3 levers on this chair and I pulled the wrong one. Hi, Garret.
Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this. I was like, as soon as I get on the HomeFront Sitrep, then I'll have made it.
There you go. No, we're glad you're here.
4 or 5 months ago, we talked about this, huh? So it's been a little while.
Yeah.
No,
so we had
to your resume.
Yep, I will.
I'm joking.
Yeah. So we had you scheduled before, and I think something came up. I forget what it was, and then we had 2 of them scheduled. So we had this one and then another one scheduled, and I'm just glad that we could get this one in. And like I said, we're going to have to schedule another one because you do so much, and I think we're even going to scratch the surface of the things that you do on this episode. But do me a favor, won't you introduce yourself for our listeners out there?
Well, my name's Garret Biss. I was a Marine from 99 to 2015, took an early retirement in 2015. Had an opportunity to serve as a KC-130 Juliet pilot. So it was probably really the highlight of my career. And I'll argue this against anybody that flying the C-130 is the best job in the Marine Corps. Had the opportunity to fly around the world, do some cool stuff, and took an early retirement in 2015. And since then, so I was through the TERRA program. I don't know if you know the TERRA program, the Temporary Early Retirement Authority. So when they're trying to downsize the military, sometimes they'll let people between 15 and 20 years retire early. You get a reduced pension, but you get out a little bit sooner. I'd loved everything in the Marine Corps up to that point. So I was like, all right, the Marine Corps is about to get theirs. I better get out while the getting's good. So I opted for the early retirement. And one of the things that about that transition was I realized I've made a lot of excuses of other things I'd like to do or be a part of, like different passion projects and things. And I was like, man, if I wasn't in the Marines, I'd write some books, I'd do some of this nonprofit work, and I'd do, find all these other ways to be engaged. So when I was offered that early retirement, I was like, I better pony up now. I better show up. So through that journey, I've had an opportunity to be engaged in a lot of things. Some of the highlights, I've started an addiction recovery program here in Eastern North Carolina, and kind of through my own journey and struggling with substances and various behaviors, trying to deal with some things, which I'm sure we'll talk about, that transition from military service. I found a lot of unhealthy coping mechanisms to deal with things. And fortunately, I found a path through that, and not through a traditional treatment route, but I was connected with a mentor and a coach that helped me do some self-work, honestly, and kind of put the pieces of myself back together. And what I realized was the more that I got connected with myself, the more that I regained some of my sense of confidence and self-worth, that need or that propensity to constantly avoid, escape, or numb the situation that I was in started to diminish and started to go away. So through that journey, I realized that there's a lot of things that I was introduced to or things that I had experienced in that journey that could be of great value to a lot of other individuals. So I started addiction recovery residence. I started doing some coaching, developed some curriculum for individuals that struggle with addiction to help provide some new tools and resources to kind of take a more holistic approach to not just moving beyond a substance or behavior that maybe you want to remove from your life, but really get back to experiencing that life that you want. And about 1.5 years ago, I realized that all of that work that I'd been doing since my retirement in both the personal development and addiction recovery world was preparing me to come back and serve that audience that I connect with and understand the most, which is the military veteran.
Yeah, for sure.
I could go on for a long time, but I'll try not to go for too long a spurts.
No, I like it. I like it because people are learning a lot about you. And so you got out of the Marine Corps at, early retirement. Your transition when you got out, how was that like for you, since you were an officer? So I'm enlisted. When I got out, we didn't have.
Yeah, I was enlisted too. I was a Mustang, so don't hold that against me.
I'm not holding it
I
against
do have
you.
to call you out real quick. I've been doing this lately. You messed up in like almost your second word. You said you was a Marine.
We are a Marine. Yeah.
Look,
Who, me? I messed up or Garrett messed up?
Garrett did. He said,
Garrett
I did? All right. I said I was in the Marine Corps, but if I said I was a Marine, yeah, you're correct. All right, I'll hit pause. I'll go haze myself real quick and come back.
Yeah, we'll go haze
That's
ourselves.
the only branch that, like, once a Marine, you're always a Marine.
That's right.
You are correct. So your transition when you got out. So like for me, I lost that sense of purpose, of camaraderie, that sense of purpose of, having something to do, or who I was. How was it like for you when you got out?
Oh, it was amazing. It was all like sunshine and rainbows and happy times. No, that's what I thought it might be like. But yeah, I entered a really dark place, and I know there was a huge void inside, and there was something that was missing. Something didn't feel right. I didn't feel like myself anymore. And I really wasn't sure what it was that was missing. I tried to fill that void for some time with some substances and behaviors. And then fortunately had this awareness that I was standing atop a very slippery slope. And if something didn't change, honestly, what it came down to was the suicidal ideations. When I started to think about and kind of ruminate over, okay, how do I get out of this? And understanding how many veterans are taking their lives every single day, and not being able to say definitively that I wouldn't become one of those. That really kind of woke me up and scared me to try to seek some answers. And what took me a number of years to really figure out and identify is the topic of the message that I share in my recent TEDx talk, which talks about the unspoken trauma that all veterans face, and specifically the trauma of military transition. What I've since realized is that we have fundamental basic human needs. We have needs for connection. We have needs for positive self-identity or our authenticity. And we have a need for a strong sense of meaning. And when we transition out of the military, the way that we've learned to meet those basic needs is stripped away from us. And if we're not prepared for that, I certainly wasn't prepared for that. Nobody mentioned that to me during the TAP classes or TRS classes, that, hey, there's some serious mental health challenges, some emotional challenges, and even some spiritual challenges that you're going to experience strictly because of these fundamental needs that you're losing. I feel like if I'd have known that ahead of time, maybe it would have provided a little bit of clarity or hope as I was going through that process. But it took me a number of years. And that's why I delivered that TEDx talk, because I want other veterans to understand that. I mean, we are hardwired for connection. We need that brotherhood, that sisterhood. We need that camaraderie. And the level of camaraderie that we experience in the military is unlike any level of camaraderie that a lot of other people will ever have the opportunity to experience. So when that's stripped away from us, it creates a tremendous void, and it really threatens our feeling of safety and survival, or safety and security. So if we don't recognize that and then find ways to mitigate that or move through that, or find new healthy connections, then we're always going to suffer with that kind of void inside, and that threatens our sense of safety, security. It threatens our identity, and it can even confuse us on where we should go to find a greater sense of meaning or purpose. Like, what are the things most important to us? Because as we separate from our identity, or we don't recognize who we are, I often say when I took that uniform off, I didn't know who I was anymore. When we separate from that identity that we've had, and it messes up a lot of other things in our life, especially our ability to connect with, our ability to thrive, make a contribution, make an impact, or even just feel like a good version of us when we're showing up, trying to do whatever we're doing, whether that's at work or at home in the family.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned TEDx, that you're a TEDx speaker. For the people out here that don't know what that is, can you tell what TEDx is?
Yeah, so TEDx it's an offshoot, or it's a subsidiary, I guess, or in partnership with TED. So TED originally started out as technology, I believe, engineering and design. And really what it is, it's curated series of talks where individuals that have a message to share come in and deliver that message in a short, digestible format. So I had the opportunity to go to a TEDx event in Apex, North Carolina earlier this year and deliver a 10.5-minute talk about something that I felt was very important and share a message that I wanted other veterans to hear, not just other veterans, but any, loved ones, family members, anybody that works with or serves veterans, to better understand that transition and why so many veterans struggle or suffer the way that they do when they transition out.
Yeah, I've watched a few, and I know Dr. Teresa Larson, she was on TEDx as well, and I know you and her got connected. We'll talk about that later, but what?
Yay. It's a good connection right there, those two.
It was a good connection, I believe. I don't know what came of it, but we'll find out. Now, you also, how many books have you wrote?
I've got 3 and some other ones in the works, but I've got 3. So when I transitioned out, one thing I did was I experimented with charity as kind of in a strange way, as a kind of a form of self-care. And I wrote a book just kind of reflecting on the benefits. What I realized was anytime we do something for the benefit of another person in mind, I consider that charity, whether it's an act of service, whether it's making a contribution to a nonprofit, whether it's just doing something nice for a friend or for a stranger. What I realized, anytime we do something with the benefit of another person in mind, we ourselves receive certain benefits from that behavior.
For sure.
Yeah.
What are the name of your 3 books?
Find my mute button real fast.
What are the name of your 3 books, Garrett?
So the first one's called Charity, the Gifts of Giving. The next one, and where I talk about kind of some simple things that we can do and some of the benefits that we get from doing anything of service to others. I use that also dealing with some of the anxiety and some of the depression that I was dealing with, and that's why I wrote the book, just as a reminder that, hey, if you're dealing with something, one of the easiest ways or most productive ways to kind of work through that is to put your mind on somebody else for a moment, doing something or any act for the benefit of another person in mind. So Charity, the Gifts of Giving. I also wrote a book called The Spheres Approach to Happiness and Fulfillment. In this, go ahead.
The Spheres?
The Spheres Approach.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So it's I really started kind of writing this or penning this out during my last deployment in Afghanistan. The whole premise of the book is understanding that I believe the way that we live our life, the way that we experience our life is really broken down into some distinct different spheres. The ones I label in the book, I talk about the indirect sphere. So that's everything that's happening in the world out there that doesn't directly affect us. So it could be things that we hear about on the news, things that are going on in other states, things that, the 24-hour news cycle, unfortunately, there's constantly things that are played into our awareness that don't directly affect us, but it certainly can if we allow it, if we think about it and ruminate over it. One experience I had that really drove this point home to me was when we were in Afghanistan. This was in 2013. So our really only access to the outside world was some of the news channels that we could stream on our computers. And I remember there was a factory explosion, and a week later there was like a train derailment. So everybody, what I recognized every time I went into a shop and somebody had the news, the 24-hour news cycle up on their computer, everybody like moths to a flame. Everybody was just kind of enwrapped in it. And I realized the mood and the energy in, when everybody's just kind of sucked into this news about something horrific that was happening that honestly didn't have a direct correlation or direct effect to anybody that was watching it, but it was really affecting the way that they were showing up, affecting the way that they felt. What I realized is that we can all have this tendency to allow a lot of things that don't directly affect us to weigh on our mind. And it does affect us then. It does affect the way that we think, the way that we feel, the way that we're showing up, and the way that we're engaging. The next sphere I talk about is the direct sphere. So that's everything that does directly affect us. Like when Candace couldn't find the link to get in tonight, that directly affected us. If my power went off right now, like that would directly affect me. If it's raining on the way home, that's going to directly affect me. But we also have an option for how we deal with those things that directly affect us. And there's certain ways that we can approach these situations or these events that happen in our life so that we can gain benefit from it. With every obstacle, with every bad thing that happens, I think there's a seed for something good that can come from that. And with the right tools and the right kind of mindset, we can find opportunities that come from these challenges that face us. And then the last sphere I talk about is the direct sphere, or the action sphere rather. And that's everything that we do, everything that we impact through the way that we show up, through the way that we engage with people, through the work that we do. And that has a much more than I was aware of. That has a huge impact on the environment that we're in, just kind of the way that we show up, the energy that we carry, the way that we interact with other people, the things that we do. it does have a direct impact on this environment or this experience that we have. So I talk about some different ways that we can ensure that we're showing up the way that we want to, and making sure that we're putting our best, our best effort, our best foot forward, so that we can create the situations and the environments that we want to be.
Definitely. Now, so that was all of your books there. So you got the Spears Approach to Happiness and Fulfillment, Charity, The Gifts of Giving, and then did you say Understanding the New American Dream? Is that the third book?
Yeah, that's another one. It's a really short one. That's kind of on a completely different topic, but also interesting. And I just talk about it'd be interesting to go back. I wrote about 10 years ago. It'd be interesting to go back and see how many of the predictions I made came true. It just talks more about how our landscape in America has changed, and really in the Western world has changed, and what that looks like, and what I think it will look like as we continue to move around our built environment, the way that we interact in our built environment in the coming generations.
Now, so for me, I do a lot of veteran charity work, whether it's, demoing a house and rebuilding it, giving it to a homeless veteran, taking food to homeless veterans in downtown Louisville, or, stuff like that. And I do that with friends. Like if friends need my help, I go help them. And my friends will tell you that I will give you the shirt off my back if you need it. That's just how I am. And, for me, it helps. Like it doesn't eliminate my demons, but it does help minimize the demons that I face on a day-to-day basis. And if I go to a point where it's been a long time, like say 3-4 months that I haven't helped somebody, I can start feeling it coming through. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I started the podcast, is because this is my way of helping, because I'm giving information out there to all these veterans that could possibly be watching, or they will watch in the future. And, like having guests like you and Dr. Teresa Larson, and having Sam Deeds on, and Rich Lamonic, and all these people that have the same mindset of giving charity and helping veterans, not a handout, but a hand up. And that's what I love doing. Now, you also do a lot of veteran charity work, and one of yours is giving or going into third world countries and giving help, or helping with clean drinking water. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, certainly. So I love what you're talking about there, just kind of being of service to somebody else. Sometimes our own problems and in the frustrations that we're facing, it can build up on us. And if we're thinking about, mistakes that we've made, or if we're thinking about things that we feel, that we haven't done well or haven't done right, or frustration, or, things that we're working on in our own life, one of the negative effects of that is it can start to erode our sense of value or our sense of self-worth. So a great way to bring that back is to remind yourself how worthy you are, and how much of an impact you can make for other people's lives, whether that's some direct impact that you're making, like you're helping a friend, or you're helping some veterans in your community, or whether it's something like this, like every week you're putting ideas out there that could plant the seed that could help another veteran out. So when you're doing things like this of service to other people, and that's something that we lose when we transition out of the military, it's very readily apparent to us what we're doing that is being of service and value to not just our family, but to our country, as we're, willing to, we're stepping forward and willing to sacrifice, willing to go into harm's way, or do hard, difficult things for the benefit of other people. When we transition out of the military, unfortunately, we lose a lot of that. One of the things I've done since I retired is I've engaged more with this nonprofit work. I have an organization that's called 1 Million Goal. So I set a personal goal to help 1 million people gain access to clean drinking water. During one of my deployments, I had an opportunity to speak with another Marine I was serving with, and learned about the global water crisis, and realized at that time how significant of an issue it still is. There's about 1 billion people on the planet that don't have ready access to safe, clean drinking water. And the result of that is that, it's not just a thirst issue. It's so many other issues are created by that. There's one statistic that says that half of the hospital beds around the world are filled with patients that wouldn't be there if they had safe, secure drinking water. So whether it's a sanitation issue, a malnourishment issue, or dehydration, there's a lot of issues that are created. And you think about the second and third order effects of that the economic impact of that. And, we go into a lot of communities where there's a lot of children that are suffering health consequences because they drink dirty water. They just don't have enough hydration. And you figured like that affects the way that they can show up and get an education, the way that they can even play and strengthen their bodies. If you don't have safe, clean drinking water, that's our, humans' most basic need. If you don't have that, then your ability to even have hope for a better future is really diminished, if you have any hope at all. So we found just a great way to make an impact by serving, third world communities, providing safe, supportive water or clean water resources. And one of the things that I've done with that, I've partnered up with an organization called Veterans Without Orders. And what they do is they empower veterans to come together and do these mission trips together. Because what better way to regain a sense of purpose and contribution and be aware of the strength and the capacity and the skill set that you have than going forward into austere environments and going forward to, really to the tip of the spear where individuals are really suffering and help make an impact. And when you can do that and you can come together with other veterans and feel like you're surrounded by your tribe once again, with people that understand your dark sense of humor and understand kind of your level of intensity, it's a beautiful reminder and a kind of a nourishment of that sense of camaraderie and connection that we all often lose when we transition out of the military.
So I put the link up there for 1 million goal. So if you guys are out there, you can go onto the website, check it out, donate to it as well, to help bring clean drinking water to these third world countries. Because I know when I was in Haiti, and the water there in Haiti at that time, this was, God, I don't remember, way back when. I'm gonna date myself here a little bit, but the water wasn't safe to drink, so we had to bring in bottled water to drink and stuff like that. And I can only imagine now, since the earthquakes and stuff, what Haiti looks like. And I think it's a hell of a nonprofit to help bring clean, safe drinking water to these third world countries and stuff like that. I think that's amazing. In
a few weeks, we're taking a trip over to Uganda to work with an orphanage over there to provide some. And the beautiful thing about this, not just provide wash and sanitation training and bucket filters that they can filter their water, but also empowering the next generation. So we go over there and we'll train these, usually young women, young men, to maintain these water resources and then turn around and train others in their community. So we're really empowering and uplifting and providing, that hand up, like you mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. So Gunny Deeds, me and him served together, and he said 1999. I wasn't trying to throw it out there because I didn't want to date myself, but
Well, you're having knee surgery. You're already dating yourself.
I know, right? But I'm only 46, so but still, I'm dating myself. So when we spoke in that meet and greet, we were like, well, we're going to get you connected with Dr. Teresa Larson, who kind of is in the same realm of what you are planning to do with what your next step is.
Yes.
So how did that conversation go with her, and did anything come of that that's going to help benefit you and her in the future?
Yeah, we'll see where that goes. We did have a great conversation. She was it was very informative and very helpful to help me kind of validate the impact that I'm trying to make. And, what we talked about. So I've been working with individuals, especially veterans in addiction recovery recently. I realized that as a population, there's 19 million veterans in the United States. As a population, veterans are more than 200% likely to suffer with mental health challenges or struggle with addiction. We look at the rates of suicide or preventable deaths, they continue to increase. I realize there's a lot of veterans at that kind of the clinically diagnosable, really kind of struggling and suffering. And I've worked there and put together some programs to really help there. What I also realize is there's many millions of other veterans that maybe they're not struggling to that degree, but they're still not showing up. They still don't feel like a good version of themselves. They're still not making the impact. They feel underutilized, or they feel like they're not really providing their best potential. So that's my next step, is to take some of the training and resources that I've developed into a corporate environment to help individuals to, kind of show up as a better version of themselves at their job, make a greater impact, but most importantly, just feel like a better version of themselves and really live the happiness and the joy-filled life of meaning that they certainly deserve. I mean, for any veteran that's raised their hand and stepped forward to serve our country, it's tragic to me to know that so many don't feel fully engaged or feel like that good version of themselves after they transition out into the civilian world.
Definitely. These comments are getting funny. He probably has a lift in his home for the staircase. Probably also yells, "Get off my grass," wearing a UFC veteran hat. Oh God. Oh man. But no, so you wrote books, you help with a 1 million goal. You're planning on, and then plus the addiction recovery home there in North Carolina. So you do a whole lot of things. I mean, you stay busy. I mean, you're kind of like me. I stay busy all the friggin' time. Like my wife is like, "Hey, are you going to slow down anytime soon?" And I have to remind her that idle minds and veterans don't mix, because
Sure.
If I sit too long, then the demons start creeping in. So I'm always doing something, and she gets mad at me because they'll do their thing, and then I'm like, all right, I'm sitting by myself, and I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then I'm like, all right, go down to the basement and be creative. And I'm always reaching out to this veteran or this organization or doing this, and I have to stay busy, because if not, then the demons just start creeping. So, is there another veteran service organization that you either help start or you're volunteering with that we haven't covered yet? I think we talked about another one. I can't remember.
He's
I
doing a
can't
lot of
remember which one.
Yeah,
insanely wonderful things. It's
Well, you kind of touched on something there, which I've been contemplating and kind of thinking over a bit myself recently, is this relationship between, we're so used to service. I mean, it's just really ingrained in us, being of service. I think there's also a dark side of that that's ingrained in us in the military, especially that service needs to accompany sacrifice. Like our service to the nation is commensurate with the amount of suffering or sacrifice that we're willing to endure and go through. And there's certainly some truth to that in the military and with a lot of the things that we do to prepare to do our job. And I don't know that we don't carry, I mean, I carry that, I think, into my life as a veteran, feeling like if I'm not sacrificing enough, or even if I'm not suffering enough by engaging in so many things or putting in that extra effort or trying to keep myself busy, I'm now starting to question if there's a dark side of that I continue to need to kind of process and work through. Do you feel like there's a motivation there, maybe a negative motivation of needing to sacrifice more so that you know that you're being of service?
Yeah, there are times that I do think that I'm just putting myself out there, kind of being selfish a little bit, by putting myself out there doing this or doing that. And don't look at me like that, Candace. But yeah, I do feel that there's sometimes a dark side to it, because my thing is what keeps me up at night. The one thing that keeps me up is missing that one veteran that becomes one of the 22. That's what keeps me up at night. So if I feel like I'm slacking at giving or helping, then I might have missed that veteran. So that's kind of my dark side to it. So
okay. So anything that just came out of your mouth, explain to me how that even remotely goes with the word selfish. That's why you're getting the look, because where I see what you're saying, Garrett, and I think I can see that in a lot of people, because I've been in the veteran community for 20 years and doing nonprofits and stuff, same as Willis, but I didn't have a chance to serve. My thing with that got messed up, but I think there definitely is a dark side to that. And, it's not, I don't think so much that you have to feel like you're sacrificing so much. I think sometimes it ends up that you do sacrifice so much because you're trying to fulfill that purpose. You're trying to fulfill that camaraderie. You're trying to fulfill the person I might have missed. And, I'm sure you go through that, especially starting an addiction and recovery home. Like, you're looking at, what if you didn't have something that kind of woke you up and brought you to where you are now? And you probably have it with everybody you run into. And that's just kind of, I think that comes with a servant's heart. It does. And when you look at military people, and I think that we're finding more and more that you see veterans or, you know, people that are former first responders that are still looking for something. You're looking for that purpose. And until you find that purpose, you have those idle hands. But when you're finding something, like Willis found the podcast, and you have found a million different things, and Willis, you have other things as well. We all do. We can't, there's something about, we have this tendency that we can't stick to one, because it's almost like it's not enough. And you go, okay, maybe we're helping with this part, but we're missing this. So we got to put our hands in that. And it's a fulfilling thing of going, the more we're involved in, the more we reach, the more we share this, the more people are reached. And in turn, there are times that I feel we sacrifice some of our personal lives, some of our family's valuable time, and, you know, not realizing in the moment or how in depth that we are into something, how it's affecting those that are closest to us and around us. I mean, personally, like I said, I'm not a veteran. I tried, but I got diagnosed with MS, so I could not serve. So I continue serving those that serve. But, you know, I'll be the first one to admit, like, there was a time there that I was so involved, you know, my time with the VFW, Willis, that I lost connections with my parents, with my child. Because, you know, I was there 18 to 19 hours a day, making sure that everybody in every aspect was okay. And anybody that needed something, we were going to figure out a way. And, you know, and I started my nonprofit, I've started the baker, I've started all these different things to make sure that this covers that, and that covers this, and this covers that. And you don't realize it until you're like, oh shit, hold on. These people are right in front of me. You know, even some of the closest veterans you have in your life, your friends, your brothers, your sisters, we almost have these blinders on because we're trying to help everybody else. And we forget that person's sitting right next to me, or that person's in front of me every single day, and they need us too, whether it be for that hand up or that companion that we promised to them. You know, that's where I see the dark side of it. Because you guys are continually looking for that purpose, which I don't think there's a bad part to that. It's just, if you have people that are close to you, and you have that companion, that spouse, that your children, it's making sure that those people also have an understanding of what you're trying to do, even if you haven't quite figured it out. So it's almost like we have a need for a certain type of person to be around us, to be close to us, because some people can't handle that. They don't,
right,
because they don't understand it. They can't comprehend it. And sometimes the problem is we don't understand it. So how do you explain it? So there's definitely, but I think there's more light than there is dark. It's a consequence, and it's a matter of surrounding yourself with the right people. And I think with this podcast alone, like, how many people we have met and connected over the years, like, I don't think we could ever have a chance to say we're alone in something. We have family everywhere, that if there's something that we need, or they need, somebody is going to make sure that that's taken care of. And that's the beautiful thing of the camaraderie of your military is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We may, you know, shoot the shit and call them crown eaters and the other things, you know, our chair force and all these things. But when it comes down to it, they're always going to be there. Always.
Right. Don't mess with one of ours, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I'll peel back that layer a little bit more. And one thing that's taken me a while to really recognize and accept and give myself permission is there's also somebody else that needs us, and that's us. Like, we need to be there for us, and we need to be there and taking care of ourselves. I often think of this term responsible benevolence. And I kind of coined this term after thinking about, remember that book, The Giving Tree?
Mm-hmm.
It's something that we were all introduced to. And I used to think, oh, this is a beautiful story showing us how we can always give a little bit more. You know, every time somebody went back to that tree, or the boy went back to the tree found more that it could give to this boy to be of service. And I was like, oh, that's a beautiful reminder that even when it's a stump in the ground, it can still be of service to this boy. But then I realized it's kind of a dark story. It's a reminder that if we give too much of ourselves, if we are too focused on being of service that it comes at an unrepairable cost to us, then yes, we can be in service in that moment, but it affects the way that we can be in service in the future. So yes, there's always other veterans out there. Unfortunately, there's always going to be more veterans out there that we can serve and that we can help. But if we're not taking care of ourselves, then we're not going to be able to show up continuously for that long period of time for the enduring service that we want to provide if we're not giving ourselves permission to take care of ourselves first. And I think some of that comes back to that loss of connection and that loss of positive identity when we transition out of the Marine Corps or when we transition out of the military, losing that sense of connection and the permission to just show up as we are. It can erode our sense of self-worth or make us feel like we need to do more and more to be of service. Being of service, I mean, I'm a huge advocate for and a champion for doing things for other people, obviously, but also I recognize that's got to be balanced with taking care of ourselves so that we can continue to provide that service and be of benefit for a long time.
And I almost have to step out on this one because I said, like, I know it and I can preach it, and you can too, Willis. But we're so bad about it. Every one of us is guilty of that. Any of us that is involved in any of these things, like, we are so guilty of that, and it's hard because you think that when you're doing all of these, you are fulfilling. You're filling your cup. You sleep better at night, but the reality is you're draining yourself. And if you were able to balance that and really do that self-care like you need, even just a moment, even if it's you're taking 15
She froze on
minutes
us.
to go hide in your closet and sit on the floor and just breathe, hey, how much better you're going to be at what you're doing. And that's what we forget is when we take that time, we're going to be a better us and we're going to serve better. But it's hard. That I think that's the hardest thing, is to take care of yourself because you feel like everybody else matters. Like, you're good. We got it. Like, it's under control. Like, the house is good. Like, that'll be okay. Somebody will find something to eat. I'll sleep later. Like, but the reality is, no, you got to take a moment.
Yeah, self-care is, it's very important, but like she said, it's hard to do. Like, we're on strike right now. Well, I load my griddle, my Blackstone up in my truck every morning, take it to the picket line, and I'm cooking breakfast for everybody. As we're walking the picket line, I'm cooking breakfast, and then I bring it home, do it again the next day. And I go up there 5 days a week right now because, I don't have a job right now, technically. So, I'm taking care of the guys that are on the line, making sure they're fed, make sure they got, water, make sure they got whatever they need. And, it's self-care is one of those things. And sometimes you got to peel back and say, all right, I need to take a break. Like last year during the Christmas holidays and New Year's, HomeFront Sitrep, we didn't run episodes because we were taking a break. We needed to recharge our batteries and get ready to go for the next coming year. And we're going to do that again this year because it's something that we need to do to recharge our batteries and keep going that way. And I know you take time off and spend time with your family and stuff like that. And when I was saying it was selfish, Candace, is because the reason I do so much is because I know it helps me. Like, it helps minimize my demons and stuff. So for me to do what I do, it's selfish for me to do that in a way that I'm doing it for myself, helping everybody. I'm doing it for the right reason, but I'm also doing it for myself. That's what I mean by being selfish.
Called self-care. Self-care ain't selfish.
Yeah, but if I'm running myself ragged to help everybody and not taking self-care, because that's me being selfish.
Yes,
so
that's where it comes back to that balancing, like an awareness and the balancing of it. And one thing I've found that helps me a lot, because sometimes we'll get into this thought pattern where we're thinking about all of the things that we could do, or that next thing, that project that we want to jump into, and focus on all the things that aren't complete, and not recognizing or giving ourselves due credit for the things that we have done. And I fall into this trap all the time. So what I try to do when I find myself there is be more intentional about, no, I'm going to give myself, like, these are the 3 things I did. I mean, just yesterday I was beating myself up because I didn't make it to the gym in the morning. So all the self-talk comes up, and, of all the self-shaming and the guilt. I was like, no, I'm gonna stop this for a minute, because I did a cold plunge in the morning. I did some breath work. I did some meditation. So I'm gonna give myself credit for those things that I did do. I'm gonna give myself credit for the veterans I was able to serve, or the people I was able to reach out to, and not allow that voice to creep up, reminding me all the things I didn't do, because that makes us feel like we don't deserve the self-care because we haven't done enough yet. When in reality, after we're being of service, like we need to, even before we're being of service, we deserve to take care of ourselves and be that good version of ourselves that shows up.
Yeah, I think we automatically feel like in the end of the day, if we still have more to give, we need to give that to somebody else. And sometimes it's, if we have that little bit left, we need to take advantage of the fact that we need to give that to ourselves. And yeah, so, I do have to say, Willis, I've been better about that for probably this past year.
Yeah, you have.
I had to do some separations, and for the first time in my life, I've had to say no. And I never could do that before. That was the hardest thing, is to say no, or I don't have time. And not that I've said it a lot, but I have learned what that word means. Not when somebody tells me no, but I have learned to use it. And it's a slow baby process. But you know what? I do feel better. Like I feel like I can breathe, but that is where I feel selfish, because I do feel like I should be doing more. Like I used to put in all these hours in a day, and now I'm not. And I'm like, but life is better. And there's still the ability.
When you're able to say no to some things, then when you say yes, it means that much more.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, we got this veteran concert, our 3rd annual veteran concert coming up. I'm also working on a concert before that. So one's on the 9th. I'm working on one for the 8th. Then I'm also working on, just got asked to do the Bullitt County Week of Valor, which is the county that we live in, to help with the mayor for doing that.
Yeah, because we're doing a concert on Saturday. Let's do it on Friday too. Like,
yeah. I'm always looking, like you said, always looking at that next project. What can I do next? And we're working on with Challenge America. We're working on creating a platform on there to help teach veterans how to podcast, like what podcast equipment to use, what cameras to use, what software to use. And so we're working on that. And then Wreaths Across America Radio, we just got asked to be on their platform, which starts October 3rd, which is amazing, because we're already part of Heroes Media Group, Veterans Voice Radio, Military United podcast streams. So we're always looking at ways to keep busy, and I'm always looking at ways to keep growing, as a human growing, and then spiritually growing as well. So it's a vicious cycle. That's what I look at it.
In all that, give yourself permission to recognize all the things that you have done.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
I think the difference is, though, like some of the things that we're going forward with is not just us. Like you and I have both been like that for many, many years, because if you don't do it, it's not going to get done. The difference is the things that we are involving ourselves in and partnering with is exactly that. It's a partnership, and it's not us alone. Like there are many hands, and I think that's probably been the smartest thing with some of these things coming up, that because that's our problem too. Like the servant's heart, and you know what? This is probably the first time I've ever talked about this in like an ownership type, where I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like I have done good. Thanks, Garrett. Like,
yeah.
But it's the hell is I getting ready to say? This is my mind today. My stuff's been acting out real bad. So like my memory, I click on something. I'm like, what was I going to type? It's asking for help. That's what I was going to say. I was like, what is it? What was I going to say? It's being able to ask for help and get other people involved in something has always been a really, really tough thing. But it's part of that connecting yourself with the right people and surrounding yourselves with them, that it makes it a little bit easier to go, hey, I need help with this, or can you take care of that? Somebody was trying to show me something and I just missed it. I turned and they were gone. But
he needs to leave
the
you
squirrel
alone.
ran behind you. I saw it.
Yeah.
leave me alone. Like, he's doing what he's in there. Like, I think he's doing dishes and stuff. Like, after yesterday and everything I did, it's okay. I feel bad. I don't want him to because it's from his birthday, but still, hey, it's okay.
Can you go ask him for help to do the dishes? Go ask him for a little help.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
I think he already is. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Garrett, is there anything that we might have missed that you want to discuss, or anything like that?
One thing I'll certainly love to offer to any of your listeners. So I have it's called the Warrior Reset. So it's a free 10-day challenge for anybody that's interested. And it's a great way. So everything I've learned over the last 10, 11 years, the little elements, the daily practices that I found are most helpful, most efficacious, make the biggest difference in the shortest amount of time. I put together in this short little Warrior Reset. You can go to thewarriorreset.com, get free access to it. I'll provide you with a little workbook and some audio lessons to teach you some of these daily practices. If you do all 4 of them, it takes less than 15 minutes a day. So it's really kind of, the most efficacious things that you can do. But for anybody that feels a little disconnected, feels like you're not showing up, feels as you want to, feel like maybe something's missing, certainly check that out, and you'll experience a great result from it. If anybody's interested, they want to check out the TEDx talk, you can go to unspokentrauma.vet. It's a 10.5-minute talk. You can check it out. I talk about the transitional trauma that all veterans face, and most importantly, what we can do about that to take some steps forward in the right direction. And if you want to share that with anybody, or if you have a group of friends or colleagues that you'd like to watch that with, and there's an opportunity there to host a virtual watch party, basically we'll just jump into a Zoom room together, we'll watch it, and then we'll have an opportunity to kind of unpack it and share whatever comes up. So certainly check that out.
Now, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
You can find me on all the social medias. I think I'm the only Garret Biss out there. You can also go to valiantpath.vet and learn a little bit more about the program that I offer to veterans that are trying to move into a better version of their recovery or move forward as the best version of themselves in life.
Awesome.
So the warriorreset.com, who is that? Oh, obviously it's geared towards the warrior. Who is eligible for that? People listening and watching, like, who can do that?
Anybody that finds that link, any of your listeners, anybody that finds that link, if you share it on social media, then it goes out to the whole world. That's great. I want anybody to find it and check it out. You don't have to be a veteran. Anybody will benefit greatly from it. And if you got any feedback for it, if you have any, if you go through it and you have some good, some great, some bad experiences, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk about it with you. And if there's anything else I can do to support you, then don't hesitate to reach out.
Is there a charge for that?
No, not for your listeners.
Not for the listeners.
You're awesome.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Garrett, it's our pleasure to have you on tonight. I think we've had really great conversation. We've, learned a lot about what you're doing, with the 1 million goal and your addiction recovery center and everything else that you got going on. It was an honor to have you on, and we can't wait to have you back on, because I know there's some more stuff that we're going to talk about. I forget.
Yeah, we had some great conversation. We could dig into a lot more of that. So I'm excited to come back and continue the conversation.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Well, it was our pleasure having you. You have a great night, my friend.
Appreciate y'all.
You're welcome.
Bye.
How cool was that, Miss Candace?
He's such a cool dude.
I know. When we first met him, got a couple months ago, I was like, all right, this guy, he does a lot like I do. It was like, holy cow, he does this. Is like, holy cow. But no, he's got, 1 million goal. That's something that's pretty neat. And then, his books, that I put the link for his books up out here as well in chat. Go check them out.
Talk about such a beautiful soul. Like, look at the things that he's created. Look at the 1 million goal and the addiction recovery house. Like, the man, obviously, there is no self-gain in that, but it is the true definition of a beautiful soul and that servant heart, that all you want is for things to be good for those people that can't provide that for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking water and recovery, like those two things alone. And then, the books that he's written are also the same. They're geared towards, like, let me help you. And in any way that he can. And he may not have all of the answers, but he's damn well going to try.
Yeah, definitely. So like I was saying earlier, Homefront Sitrep just partnered with Wreath Across America Radio.org. We're going to be on it October 3rd at 11 p.m. That's going to be our first episode aired. So it's going to be 11 p.m. at night. It's going to be one that we just recently done. So more than likely, Mr. Garret Biss's episode is going to be the first one on Wreath Across America Radio for Homefront Sitrep. So the link is here at the bottom, reachacrossamerica.org/radio. You can go check it out there at 11 p.m.
Every Thursday, right?
Every Thursday at 11 p.m. On reachacrossamerica.org/radio. That's the listen live link down there below. But yeah, I'm super excited about that, that partnership. And then, with Heroes Media Group, Mr. Adam Bird, he's been awesome with us. All of our partners, everything that we've done, from the Vietnam traveling wall that we had in Shepherdsville. Then we're going to have the third annual Veteran and First Responder Suicide Awareness concert coming up. We got 12 hours of music from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. here in Mount Washington. That's going to be an awesome day with all of our food trucks and vendors and stuff that we got out there. And then on the day before, on the 8th, November 8th, we're going to do another concert in Shepherdsville at the Bullitt County Fairgrounds, which is going to be Hero Fest is what it's going to be called. We're going to bring in veteran singer-songwriters or veteran singers to come in and play that show. And all money will be donated to. So on the November 8th, it'll be donated to Active Heroes. And then I got a frog in my throat.
Yeah.
And then on November 9th, 100% of the proceeds will be donated to Camp Hero, Kentucky this year.
Awesome.
So,
and then we have the holidays coming.
Yep.
Like some awesome and big things, but so like squirreling, but not at the same time. You know what I love about this with Garret is just in the comments section, how many links we were able to put in there about these different resources and these great programs for people to get behind. And it's me. Hi, I'm Candace. If you can donate even $5, like go to one of these websites and check out what he's doing, because such beautiful things. Not just here in our hometowns, but these third world countries, and for these children. Like go check out those websites. Go find his books. Hey, thewarriorreset.com.
Yeah, you need to put that in chat.
You want to talk about self-care? I have a feeling that that's going to give some really good guidance, if not just the self-care, just taking that little bit of time every day. And I'm hoping that I'm right on this, but take the reset.
Yeah,
I'm going to go check it out. It's free. It's a 10-day warrior reset. Just do it.
Yep. And then, if you're a veteran, what's up, Christopher Raymond? If you're a veteran out there and you're in crisis, you just need somebody to talk to, you can hit 988*1. If you're not a veteran, your family member a veteran, 988*1 as well. They will talk to you. You can chat them, through the phone. You can text them. You can go online and you can do a live chat that way through the phone. So I'm going to play this commercial real quick. That commercial still gets me every time.
No, it's not just talk about it in therapy. Talk about it to your friends. Talk about it to your loved ones. Call one of us.
Yeah, reach out, and me and Candace say it all the time. You have to ask that next hard question, because I can walk up to Candace, say, "Hey, how you doing?" And then she's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm living a dream. I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. Me knowing damn well that she's tore up inside, I'm gonna be like, no, Candace, how are you really doing? And be ready for that conversation, because it could be a 15-minute conversation, could be a 3-hour conversation. You just got to be ready for that conversation. And then if you're a veteran out there and you're like me and you're just now filing your VA disability claim and you got questions about your VA disability claim, or you want to get a second opinion about your VA disability claim, hashtag Ask Monica is a segment that we have here within HomeFront Sitrep with Monica Sanford of the Monica Sanford Show. That's SANFORD. She is a doctor. She has a doctorate in nursing. So she's a nurse practitioner down in Florida. She's married to a retired lieutenant colonel of the United States Marine Corps. Been married 35 plus years. And she's gracious enough to help HomeFront Sitrep and all of our listeners with their disability stuff. So if you have questions about your disability, if you want a second opinion on it, she's the person to reach out to. So you can email her at askmonica0@gmail.com. Let's play that real quick. So yeah, reach out.
By the way, Willis, ask Monica.
Ask Monica.
You had some questions the other day.
Oh, I do. Yeah. Hey, Chris, don't worry about it, my friend. Don't worry about it, my brother. We know you're here. We know we love you, and we know you love us. So you're good, my friend. You're building a heck of a brand over at Veteran Hundo Club. So keep doing good work, Chris. All right, Miss Candace, it's that time, my friend. It is that time. Wrap us up.
All right, you guys. Like we always say, stay safe out there. We got
your six. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.